In the far north, where the land was always white with snow and the cold bit deep into the bones, there lived a boy named Kiche. He was the son of Bok, a great hunter who had died many years before, giving his life in a battle with a giant bear so that the village might eat and live. People remembered Bok. They spoke of him with respect, of how he had gone out alone and fought bravely, though he never came back. Kiche was only a child when his father died. He lived quietly with his mother in a small igloo at the edge of the village. The other hunters were strong men with broad shoulders and loud voices. They laughed together and shared stories, but they did not share much meat with Kiche and his mother. The village had a rule that all should get their fair share, even the old and the weak. But rules are easy to forget when the days are cold and the hunger is strong. So Kiche and his mother grew thin. They chewed on scraps and gnawed on bones. Still the boy said nothing. He watched. He listened. He remembered what he had heard about his father, that he had died not for glory, but for the good of the people. One night, when the snow piled high outside and the wind moaned like a wolf in the dark, Kiche rose in the council igloo. He stood straight, though his hands trembled from cold and from courage. "Listen," he said. "My father was Bok, the hunter who gave his life so that you might eat. You remember him. But now, my mother and I are given only scraps. This is not right. So I will hunt. I will bring back meat. And I will show you that even a boy can do what is fair." The hunters murmured. One man laughed aloud. "Go then, boy," he said. "We will see what comes of it." The next morning Kiche set out. He had no companion. Only a small sled pulled by dogs and a spear carved from bone. The wind howled across the frozen sea as he vanished into the white wilderness. 3 days passed. The sky stayed grey and snow fell without stopping. The people began to whisper. Some said he would never return. Others shrugged. But on the 4th day, near sunset, Kiche came back. His cheeks were red with frost, and his clothes were stiff with ice. Behind his sled dragged the body of a great bear. The hunters stared in silence. The bear was heavy with meat, thick with fat. A feast for the whole village. But Kiche said nothing. He unloaded the meat, gave a fair share to every igloo, and then went home to rest beside his mother. Again and again he went out. Again and again he came back with meat. Seal, walrus, and always the best and strongest bears. But no one saw him hunt. He went alone, and he returned alone. And he gave more than the others, yet took no more than his share. Whispers began to grow. "It is witchcraft," they said. "He uses evil spirits. He casts spells in the dark." They could not believe that a boy could succeed where full-grown men could not. At last, 2 hunters, Bim and Born, offered to follow him. Quietly they trailed him across the snow. For 3 days they crept behind him. They saw the long hours he walked, the tracks he studied, the patience with which he moved. They watched as Kiche took bones, old, sharp bones from meat long eaten, and carved them carefully. He bound them with sinew and froze them inside chunks of fresh blubber. These he left on the path. Where bears would come, the hungry beasts swallowed the bait. And when the warmth of their bellies melted the ice, the sharp bone inside would spring loose, cutting deep from within. Then the bear would weaken. It would grow sick and fall. Kiche would follow its trail, slowly, surely, until he could finish the job with one clean strike of his spear. It was not magic. It was thought. It was cleverness. It was the mind of a boy who had nothing but had learned how to think. When Bim and Born returned, they told all they had seen. The council gathered, and once more, Kiche stood before the elders. "I have not used spirits," he said quietly. "I have only used my head. My father gave his life for the people, and I give my work. I do not take more than my share. I give meat to the old, the weak, the hungry. That is how it should be." No one laughed now. They nodded instead, and their eyes were soft with respect. From that day forward, Kiche was honored by all. Though he was young, the people listened when he spoke. Though he was small, the hunters followed his lead, and the old ones smiled when they saw him, for they knew they would not go hungry while Kiche lived. He hunted many years, and never once did he grow proud or greedy. He shared what he had, and he thought before he acted. In time, he became chief, not because he wanted power, but because he had earned trust. And so, in that cold land where the wind never rested and the snow never melted, the people remembered Kiche, not just as the son of Bok, but as a great man in his own right. Kiche, the boy who hunted with his mind and gave with his heart.